So the service that we are working on, we have defined a charge for the Kai of Vidisha. Now we move on to the next tab, form designer. So every service is going to contain an application form, right? So let's make this demo application form. This name that we write over here is visible to customers, so you be wise by choosing this name. So is this an application or action form? Let me choose application form. You want to add a header. Header is basically whatever is going to be shown at the top of your document. Everyone knows this. So we write that what this application is doing. We can basically choose the size of font. We can choose the font name. We can also add a footer over here. You want to add declaration. This basically tells us whether we want to display any 3D effect in our form or not. This is if we want to show a help message while we are basically uh, showing this application to the user. So user can click on a question mark button and check what this application is meant for. So you want to add some information telling that what this form is doing, you can add over here. Like I've added a PDF file here to show that information. So let's click on proceed. When we click on proceed, we will move to a form designer from where we can basically design our application form. So this is the application form that we are designing. This is the declaration that we have added to our application form. Now we're going to add a text box. To add a text, this interface is basically graphical user interface to design a form, and you can design the forms over here. You can use JavaScript on this form. You can put on validations. You can basically do almost everything that is already you're doing with your application. So name, if you want any default value, you can choose the how long this field should be. You can make this field mandatory or uncheck it. You can apply various validations. If you want to restrict this field with whole numbers, you want to check the where of check the contents of it using where of algorithm, like whether Aadhaar card is entered right or not. Characters, if you want to use only characters in your field, alphanumeric characters and numbers, decimal numbers. So you can select this validation. So right now I'm leaving it right now. Done. We have added a text box. Now I want to add another field, that is email. So these are the tabs from where you can choose various controls available to you, right? So the first thing that you see is a all the controls that are available to you in the Service Plus. So I've added a text box over here. I've shown you how to change the properties of this text box. Now the next tab is special category of controls that is provided to you by Service Plus. These are special, like you can see that it has a short name, it has a full name, address, email, and various other controls that we require in our form. So for email, I'm dropping an email field. So email, every kind of validation required for email is already there in this field. So you don't need to write different JavaScript for that. Then we have image field to basically capture an image or ask a user to upload an image. Then further we have a file upload which we require. So let's change the text of this image field. User image. You can specify the dimensions, that how big of image that you want. You can even restrict the image into certain set of pixels, into certain dimension of pixels. Then we have a file upload control. Upload document. For this application, I am allowing a PDF file to be uploaded, and the maximum size for this file is 1 MB. So I've added it. Now, if we have used this upload document, then I don't require the enclosures. If we want enclosures, then we can use enclosures tab. If we don't want enclosures, we want the files to be uploaded via a file upload control, then we can use this. So once we save our form, we will move back to this. And because right now for this service, I don't want enclosures. My form is done. So right now this form has a status of deactivated, right? Now this deactivated status can be changed by clicking on change status button and pressing OK. Now this form is activated. If I make my service live, this form will be activated and shown to the user. Now this tab is actually not complete. Once a tab is complete, it is basically turned green. So it is not complete because we need to tell this service plus that way what will happen when this form is submitted. So to do that, we have to move to our next tab, that is process flow tab. So a process flow is that what will happen if a person submits the form, or the complete routing of the form or the application that is being submitted by a citizen. So first task list is asking, does this involve auto approval process? Like the moment you submit your form, your application is approved. It is generally not there. So I'll say no. If you put yes, then this will also say also allow you to assign the department and designation. So next thing that we want to do is assign the department and designations. Who is going to work on this? Which departments are going to work on this? So I'm choosing the line and test department. Missing add will show me this added department body, and designation is test designation. Once this is done, I will add a new task that is going to be submit data. So we want to submit this data. Submit the application data to using a web service. So we have created a web service to store this data. So this service is going to be of type post, and we can see that this is the web service name enclosure demo. We will tell you how to register a web service in Sarl. So we have registered that and we have chosen it from this drop down. Now this tells me how many times the web services need to be called. Suppose there is an error or there is a problem in submission, and how many times you want to wait, how many time you want to wait between these two consecutive calls. Then select your department where this need to be submitted. I've added this and then I click submit. Now this task is saved. So first user will submit an application, then submit data, and submit data will basically submit this data to web service. So now we need to add the one on we need to make sure that application submission is followed by submit data so that our submitted items get posted to our server. For that I need to click on task mapping and choose application form submit data. Now whatever we submit in application submission will be forwarded to submit data. Click done. We can now move back to our form designer and add a new template, and this is known as action template. Basically we define the action here, so we will say submit data. We'll choose an action form and now we'll choose the submit data. The task that we have defined over there, we don't want any of this. We will say no to them. We'll proceed. Now when we are defining an action form, this action control is very important to add, and to go to this we need to go to workflow elements tab. Action control tells us that what to do when the data is being submitted. So there are choices. We want to reject an application, we want to deliver an application, or whatever. So right now we are saying deliver. If only deliver is selected, my application status will change to deliver and user will further receive the output document. We will add a remarks field as well. This is also a mandatory field. So these remarks field will be shown to both applicant and official. But if you want to not, if you don't want to make it mandatory, so don't check it. Otherwise, you can make it mandatory as well to fill in the remarks while submitting the application. Then go back to standard tab, drop a text box over here, which is required to store the response. So any response received from server will be captured in this. Now we have saved our action form as well, database successfully. Now as you can see, once we have done with the form design, we have shown another tab that is known as map web service parameters with action form field. So these are the parameters of my web service. My web service has 4 parameters that need to be submitted, that need to be posted. So where these values will be populated, how these values will be populated is decided in this tab. So I want name field for my application form demo, name, email field for my application form demo, email, an image that is uploaded by the user from the same user image, file from the application demo. Now we have choice whether we want this file to be a residential proof taken from enclosure or from the upload document. So right now I'm using enclosures. Choose the response attribute for the output and then click submit. Once this mapping is done, our form will get basically all this information will be stored in database using the API that we have registered on the server. There is one more thing that I left out, that we need to basically change the status of this action form as well. And if you want to add a JavaScript to your page, so you can add this JavaScript using this tab of the form designer. So validation and function is the tab. You can basically choose the events like on load you want to apply in JavaScript. All things are here. Which form field that you want to choose, this. Which function type you need to call? Suppose this. So there are no JavaScript function defined. And we can add a function. Basically, it's for adding JavaScript. We will discuss later in detail how to do that. Then we need to click generate JS file to basically make our form work. Every time you make a change, make sure you generate JS file for your form. Otherwise, many times it happens that your form will not work. So this is all in Form Designer. Let's move on to the next thing, that is deliverable. Deliverable decides that what kind of output is basically received to the user. Are we delivering a certificate? Are we delivering some kind of trophy or document or something? Or we are doing this deliverable as a monetary benefit, like providing the money in some form, right? Is there any limit of people who can avail the service? So we can put that. What is being shown on the deliverable? What certificate and report has? So does it have a 2D barcode? Does it have a zip file? Or is there any charge for additional copy of certificate? This can be used as what kind of proof? Like suppose if you're issuing a ration card, it can be used as a proof of various various residential proof, in various places as a residential proof. What should be the mode of delivery of this certificate? So right now we are delivering through online only, which is the Saral portal, and we can click on submit. So once we are successfully submitted, we need to design a document which basically is the template of how the acknowledgement is going to look. So we want it when a user submits the application, this acknowledgement is given to him so that he knows that my application is stored. We can choose the watermark, we can choose the orientation, we can choose the size, we can use the variables that are being used on the page. So if user has entered a name, we have added the variable name from here, and this name will be displayed. And we had an email entered by a user. For email we will also add a variable. Then we have user image, upload document, action remarks, and various other things. There is very important attribute, that is application reference number. This is basically the application number through which every application which is submitted using Saral will be tracked. So application reference number is very important, and we need to add this field as well. We can format these, and we can basically go to the source of this document and add a complete HTML source over here, which basically can basically generate the complete sample certificate. So now submit. This will give the acknowledgement to the user. We have to add an output certificate as well, as it is required by Saral. So we will choose a template type output certificate, and this output certificate is going to be the final output of your application. We can choose the final output as per our desire also, but we need to define it. Defining it is mandatory, but if we want this output certificate to be of our own choice, we can send a base64 of PDF to Saral, and that particular output certificate will be shown. As you can remember that we can add name, we can add email, any other thing that we want in a certificate. Click on submit. Now we have made an output certificate, we have made an acknowledgement. Let's activate both of them. So this basically completely defines how to define a service. Now, once all this is done, we'll go to the modify service. We will choose the service that we were defining, demo service, and change its status by clicking change button and use freeze because to make the application available to user we need to freeze it and we need to get it approved by the proper authority. So once we have frozen it successfully, we will go to service definer, log out, and we will go to so now this is department admin login. As you can see, the role of this person is workflow player, designated officer, department admin. Now the service that we have freeze can be seen here, demo service. We will assign various officials to it. The officials that are going to work on this application. We will submit it. Then we will have to activate the service. So as you can see, here is our service, and we can activate it by choosing the following activate sub. So now my service is activated. Once my service is activated, this service is available to citizen for seeing. So we have an ID for citizen. As you can see over here, the role is citizen Haryana. Apply for services, view services, and now the service that is being launched, that is frozen and launched, is shown over here. So we can search for our service, demo service. We can enter the name. We can enter email. As you can see, the validations are shown. We can browse the image and add particular image. We can upload a document, but because it is not mandatory, I'm leaving it. User can basically enter the captcha and submit. Now you can see this complete application. You can attach the annexures, basically the enclosures. So I am attaching ration card as a proof of address, and because other one is not mandatory, I'm leaving it and I'm saving the annexures. So this annexure is being uploaded to my services right now, and we can submit our application and see the application reference number is shown over here, and the this is basically the acknowledgement that we have designed in the acknowledgement section. So the user is given this acknowledgement and the application is basically sent to the concerned office, and we can track this application to track application status. And once we click get data, this demo service is basically shown where current status is delivered. because we have chosen the application to be delivered only. If not, there was not the option for rejection. So the once the application is approved, this its status will become delivered. This completes the demo for services. Thank you.